Hello and welcome. If anyone still believes that our so-called government, or the private corporation trading as the West Australian government, has the slightest interest or concern for the well-being of the general public, then, to put it politely, they are not thinking clearly. While the escalating fight against the proven ecocide of fracking gathers momentum, evil decision makers now plot to impose the additional poisoning of toxic fluoride to townships and communities hitherto fortunate enough to have thus far avoided this contamination. As if fracking wasn't threat enough, it's now understood plans are underway to poison our as yet uncontaminated public water supplies with the toxic industrial waste rat poison of fluoride. They do this in contemptuous disregard of the abundant science confirming the case against water fluoridation. As with fracking, all scientific evidence gets stomped beneath the heel of government-assisted corporate criminality. A tiny ruling elite of satanic socio-psychopaths are well underway with their blanket ecocide, ramping up attacks on every front imaginable. I've listed this ever-growing litany of hateful crimes against humanity in numerous broadcasts, so I won't plough through those sordid details again here. Suffice it to say, this war intensifies and extends to countless battlefronts and seeps into every level of existence. This strategy keeps us too busy battling spot fires set by a seemingly invisible enemy to understand how to formulate effective response. We all know the usual suspects of myriad alphabet agencies, criminal banksters, Bilderbergs, etc. But few understand how expertly we are being played by them. We're collectively manipulated by the dark side to maintain deliberately provoked anger, while perpetually but hopelessly and effectively raging against the corporate machine. This ceaseless, anger-driven preoccupation keeps us from using the most powerful force that we do have, and that is our imagination and our focused intent. If you're viewing this channel, then you most probably know, or at least aware, of the concept that we continually create our own reality. It's been cleverly described as thoughts being the film, with the brain-mind being the projector and reality the screen. The enemies of truth and freedom know this and use it with great and devastating effect. Being trapped in either dead-end jobs, all-consuming careers, or stressful professions keeps us in self-imposed imprisonment, confined to the unseen jail of constrained imagination. We are steered to do this through unknowing choice, resulting from decades, more likely centuries, of expert programming, but to date, most haven't a clue of how it works. Happily, this is changing, with ever-increasing numbers becoming aware of the enormous scale and depth of deception with its occulted methods of control. Understanding this important aspect is the key to turning the tide. All around the world, people are coming together in gathering force that is now unstoppable. However, situation unawareness diverts useful response into unproductive protests, dead-end Occupy movements, and hopeless clashes with corporate mercenary police. It's exactly what the enemy want, as it diverts energy into a virtual brick wall while maintaining frustration, anger, and deepening resentment. They want us collectively focused upon vengeance, payback, making the punishment fit the crime, all of which forever remain tantalizingly out of reach. In other words, it keeps us concentrating on what we don't want instead of what we earnestly do desire. Now, I'm not saying we should all don flowing robes and gather at the river and sing Kumbaya, but I am suggesting a different response other than the pre-programmed anger deadlock. Some years ago, I was shown a method of getting rid of an unwanted circumstance that proved remarkably effective. It uses focused intention, and I'd very much like all who watches this presentation to please take a moment to employ this simple technique. Since this channel is primarily introduced to create awareness of the ecocidal fracking issue, let's for the moment use that loathsome threat as our target. The technique is to clearly and legibly handwrite the target of intention on a small piece of paper. In this case, we can write fracking industry because it's something we sincerely want to erase from this reality. We then roll the paper into a tight wad and place it in the furthest corner recess of the freezer. In so doing, we declare the words, "By my conscious intent, I banish fracking from this plane of existence," and clearly envisage the entire industry being abruptly frozen out of this reality. Experience the powerful sensation of how incredibly good that makes you feel, and luxuriate in that fabulous emotion for a few long, intense moments, and that's it. It helps to imagine thoughts as electrical energy that your strong emotions vibrate into being. Now, that's a gross oversimplification, but it pretty much describes what actually happens. I don't doubt this sounds airy-fairy to many, but if you take into account the established science that thought driven by noble intention has a measurable effect upon matter, then it makes perfect sense. This is reliably proven over and again and is readily verified by a quick internet search. Countless experiments in countless countries are comprehensively documented and easily determined. So please give it a try. All it will take is a few brief moments of your time, and it is agreeably therapeutic. While we mustn't turn away from the rising tide of evil nor confronting its many hideous faces, it is imperative to avoid triggering the carefully set response traps. These are expertly contrived to keep us on the treadmill of never-ending frustration and despair. We act from a place of learned helplessness, wherein we've been falsely convinced that there's nothing we can do in the face of such seemingly overwhelming odds. This programmed response is easily unlearned when the realization dawns that there's actually very much that we can do. In fact, more accurately, there's nothing that we can't do. Yes, the evildoers appear to dominate and manipulate all of life's situations, but that circumstance only exists because we, albeit unknowingly, permit it. The moment you understand their all-encompassing deceit is founded and remains entirely dependent upon our mistaken programmed beliefs, then the balance changes. It's changing right now in this very moment because belief is everything. Let me repeat that. Belief is everything. If you think that you can't do something, then you won't do it. But if you believe that you can, then you most certainly will. It's up to each and every individual to take purposeful action in overcoming the dark side. A good start on that sacred journey is to open up to heart intelligence and use it rather than their cunningly provoked anger. That game is as rigged as tight as a drum, but it's easily avoided once recognized. I had great empathy for the aims of the Occupy movements, but the predictably hollow ending proved a classic example of the multitude being played by the minority. I'm not one for predictions, situation forecasts, or suggesting potential time frames, since I have no way of knowing anything of that nature with any degree of certainty. What is certain, though, is that the exponential unveiling of systemic evil permeating our world incites ever-growing groundswell response. It will soon be enough to permanently disempower the dark. This might not happen as soon as we would like, and the situation certainly appears set to get a great deal worse yet. But the desired change is happening and the successful outcome is assured. Meantime, hold on to your hats and thank you for watching.